Be intentional. Bloom where God plants you. Be intentional. Bloom where God plants you. For some of you, when you wake up on a Monday morning, you go to a very difficult work environment and you dread going to work. What if your workplace became your mission field? You say, but you have no idea who I'm working with and how difficult they can be, and they are so far from God. Could it be that God has placed you there because you're close to Jesus and you may be the only Jesus they ever see? Bloom where God plants you. What you'll discover in your circumstances is that your circumstances provide you access and proximity. Access and proximity. Because of your circumstances. Now think about Paul. Because of his imprisonment, he was now given access to the Roman guards, the imperial guards. And he would lead them to Christ. They would go to the palace and they would bloom where God planted them in the palace. And they became contagious in their faith. And it spread. I think a great question for us this morning is, what are you spreading in the midst of your adversity? This hits really close to home to Houston's First Baptist Church. We have one of our very own, Stephen Murray, who's our director of communications and just dear to our hearts. He and Amanda are so amazing, and they're connected at our Cypress campus, and they're walking through a major season of adversity right now with their son Braden. As a student at Baylor, his life interrupted by the revisitation of cancer. Just endured 12 rounds of chemo or radiation, and now experiencing a bone marrow transplant. We have some pictures to show you here. Here is Stephen and Braden. And then you'll see Stephen and his wife Amanda. And you'll see Braden with this tree of all that he's receiving through IV. Now, we would call this adversity. But here's what Stephen and Amanda and Wilson and Caroline and Braden are doing with their situation. They understand it's a difficult situation, but they're placing their faith completely in the Lord Jesus Christ, and they're relying on the church family to stand up and to pray and to cover them. And what they're doing is, in the midst of their circumstances, they're blooming for Jesus. And God is giving them access to doctors and nurses and specialists who come by frequently, and they get to showcase the grace of God every single day. Now listen carefully. Without that adversity, they would not have been granted access to that intersection of life. You see, your life is made up of intersections of life. And God brings you to different intersections in your life so that you can be a thermostat and bloom where God plants you. That those who come to know you but don't know Jesus will come to know Jesus because they became to a place where they know you. That's what Paul did. That's what Paul did. What if someone were chained to you? Would they be drawn to Jesus or repelled?